46%. Almost half of every American who retired last year did not choose when they walked out the door.
Wait, half? You're telling me half of 2025's retirees didn't pick their retirement date?
That's exactly what I'm telling you. The Employee Benefit Research Institute released their 2026 Retirement Confidence Survey last month. 46% of people who retired in 2025 left earlier than they planned. And of those early exits, 76% were caused by things completely outside the worker's control.
Like what?
Health problems, disabilities, layoffs, company restructurings, or having to suddenly become a caregiver for an aging parent or a sick spouse. Life happens, and life doesn't check your retirement spreadsheet first.
That's brutal. Because the most common retirement strategy in America right now is, I'll just work longer. Like, I hear that constantly, from friends, from listeners, from my own dad.
Working longer is the most popular retirement plan in America, and almost half the time, that plan does not survive contact with reality.
Okay, so today we're talking about the gap between the retirement we plan for and the retirement we actually get, and how to build a plan that survives both.
We're going to look at the FIRE movement, how a 1992 book launched a generation of people convinced they'd retire on their own terms. Then we're going to look at the data on what actually happens. And then we'll give you the moves to plan for both.
Let's get into it.
So the modern story of choosing your retirement date really begins in 1992. A book called Your Money or Your Life by Vicki Robin and Joe Dominguez.
I know that book. That's the FIRE Bible, right?
It's the founding document. Robin and Dominguez had a radical idea. They said money isn't really money. Money is your life energy. Every hour you spend at work earning a paycheck is an hour of your finite life that you traded.
Oof, that hits different.
And they said, if you can figure out what's enough for you and live below it and invest the difference, you can hit something they called the crossover point. The moment your investment income covers your expenses. And after that, you don't have to work anymore.
So that was the seed.
Planted in 1992. But it stayed pretty niche for the next 15 years. Then, the internet happened. And in 2005, a 30-year-old Canadian software engineer named Pete Aidney walked away from his job. $600,000 saved, paid off house. He started blogging under the name Mr. Money Mustache.
The mustache guy.
That's the one. And his message was simple. Spend way less than you make. Invest the difference in low-cost index funds, and you can retire in your 30s or 40s, not your 60s.
And this caught fire after 2008, right? Because people watched their parents lose everything in the financial crisis and said, I'm not doing that.
Exactly right. The Great Recession was the rocket fuel. You had a whole generation watching the traditional retirement model, work until 65, collect your pension, golf in Florida, just collapse. Pensions disappeared. 401ks got cut in half. Promises broke. So a subset of people said, if the system isn't going to take care of me, I'm taking care of myself. And they reached for FIRE.
And the math on FIRE is save 25 times your annual expenses. Then you can withdraw 4% a year, forever.
That's the rule, 25 times, which, by the way, is just the inverse of 4%. And it's based on a 1990s study about safe withdrawal rates.
Okay, so FIRE became this huge cultural thing. There's regular FIRE, there's lean FIRE for the extreme savers, fat FIRE for the people who want a fancier retirement. There's even barista FIRE, where you just keep a part-time job for the health insurance.
Barista FIRE is the most American thing I've ever heard. The dream of retirement, interrupted only by needing employer health coverage.
Right? But here's what I want to point out. All of these versions of FIRE share one assumption,
What's the assumption?
that you get to decide when you stop working.
Yeah, that's the assumption. And that's where the data starts to break the dream.
So let's go to the numbers. The 2026 EBRI survey. What did they actually find?
They surveyed 2,500 Americans. 46% of 2025 retirees said they retired earlier than they planned. And here's the part that should stop people cold. That gap is not new.
What do you mean?
EBRI says 40 to 50% of retirees in any given year, going back to the late 1990s, have said the same thing. This isn't a 2025 anomaly. This isn't because of the recession or AI layoffs or anything specific to right now. This is the baseline for 30 straight years.
So roughly half of Americans who retire have always retired earlier than they meant to?
Roughly half for 30 years.
So the plan to just work longer has been failing for half the people using it for an entire generation.
Yes.
Okay, what are the actual reasons people retire early?
3 main ones, every survey: health, job loss, caregiving. EBRI says 76% of 2025 early retirements were out of the worker's control. Transamerica's research shows 46% retired early for health reasons, 43% for employment issues, 20% for family reasons. Only 21% retired early because they were in good shape financially and chose to.
So 1 in 5 chose. 4 in 5 had it chosen for them.
That's the ratio.
And there's the gap between expected and actual. Gallup tracks this. People say they expect to retire at, what, 66?
66 on average. Actual retirement age? 61. A 5-year gap. Some sources put the actual average at 62. Either way, we are working 5 to 6 years less than we planned to.
That's huge. 5 years of expected income? Gone. That's 5 years of 401k contributions you didn't make. 5 years of Social Security delay credits you didn't earn. 5 years of compounding you didn't get.
And remember, every year you don't work past full retirement age, you lose 8% of guaranteed Social Security increase. So if you planned to delay until 70 and got pushed out at 62, you didn't just lose income, you permanently locked in a 30% smaller Social Security check.
For life.
Permanently. And here's the cruel twist. The Urban Institute studied this. More than half, 56% of full-time workers in their early 50s get pushed out of their jobs by circumstances like a layoff before they're ready to retire.
56% of people in their early 50s.
Pushed out before they're ready. And the labor market doesn't make it easy to come back. AARP says 2/3 of older workers expect a tough job search if they had to find a new job today. The number one reason they cite? Age discrimination. The Bureau of Labor Statistics shows reemployment rates for workers who lose jobs drop sharply after age 55.
So if you get laid off at 56, thinking you'll just bridge it with a new job, the data says you probably won't.
Or it'll take you a year. Or you'll take a 50% pay cut. Or you'll end up in retail, in a body that wasn't built for retail.
So this is the trap. We've been sold the dream of choosing our retirement by FIRE, by financial planners, by retirement calculators that ask, what age do you want to retire? But for half of Americans, the choice is made for them.
And look, I want to be fair here, because the FIRE movement has done genuine good. It's gotten millions of younger people thinking about saving rates, about index funds, about what enough means. Vicki Robbins' core message, that money is life energy, is profound. Pete Adeney has helped thousands of people get out of debt and start investing.
Right. The principles are sound.
Save aggressively. Invest in low-cost index funds. Question consumerism. Define your own enough. All good advice. The problem isn't FIRE. The problem is when I'll work longer becomes plan A and there's no plan B.
And on the other side, the case for working longer is also real.
It is. Working longer means more contributions, more compounding, fewer years drawing down savings, and bigger Social Security checks if you delay. The math is incredibly powerful. The Center for Retirement Research at Boston College has shown that delaying retirement just 3 to 4 years can increase your sustainable retirement income by 25 to 40%.
That's massive.
Genuinely transformative. So we don't want to tell people to retire at 62 if they don't have to. The math of waiting is real. We're saying don't build your plan around something you can't fully control.
So what's the actual answer?
The actual answer is what one financial advisor, Pam Kruger at WealthRamp, said it perfectly. She said, working longer is not a plan. It's an assumption. And it's an assumption that depends on a lot of things going right.
An assumption, not a plan.
So let's give people a real plan. 5 wealth moves to not get caught in the early retirement trap.
Okay, hit me.
Wealth move number 1. Plan for 2 retirement numbers, not 1.
2 numbers?
2. Craig Copeland at EBRI suggests this directly. Number 1 is the retirement you want, the age you'd ideally retire, the lifestyle you'd ideally have. Number 2 is the retirement that might actually show up, the forced exit, the early one, the one that comes when you didn't pick the date. Run both scenarios. Know what each one looks like financially, because if you only plan for number 1 and number 2 arrives, you have nothing.
That's such a different way of thinking about it. Most retirement calculators only ask you for one retirement age.
Right, so you have to do this work yourself, or with a planner. Run the numbers at age 67, then run them again at age 60. See if you survive both.
Okay, move 2.
Build a bridge. If you do get pushed out early, the worst possible move is claiming Social Security at 62 out of fear.
Even though I'm out of work?
That's exactly when the temptation is strongest and exactly when it costs the most. Here's the math. The maximum Social Security benefit at 62 in 2026 is $2,969 a month. The maximum at full retirement age, $4,152. The maximum at 70, $5,181. That is a difference of over $2,200 a month, $26,000 a year for life, just from waiting.
26 grand a year forever by waiting 8 years.
Every year until you die. So instead of claiming early, you build a bridge. You draw from your 401k, your IRA, your taxable brokerage, your cash savings to cover the gap years. So you can delay Social Security as long as possible. Each year you delay past full retirement age adds 8% to your check, permanently.
That's a guaranteed 8% return. There's nothing else in the world that gives you that.
Nothing. It's the best deal in personal finance.
Okay, move 3.
Plan for the Medicare gap. Medicare starts at 65, period. If you're forced out at 58, 60, 62, you have a health insurance problem before you have a Social Security problem. COBRA is expensive and runs out. The ACA marketplace is your friend, and there are subsidies that scale with income, which can make early retirement more affordable than people realize. Or look at health sharing plans, or a working spouse's coverage. But you need to know the answer before you need it.
Because if you've got a health event and no insurance, that's a financial wipeout.
One unmanaged health event in your 60s can take 20 years of savings off the table.
Move 4.
Max your catch-up contributions. The IRS just raised them for 2026. If you're 50 or older, you can put an extra $8,000 into your 401k, plus an extra $1,100 into your IRA. And if you're age 60 to 63, the so-called Secure 2.0 Super Catch-up, you can put in an extra $11,250 on top of the normal limit.
11,000 more just for being 60 to 63?
Just for being in that window. That's a 4-year window where the IRS lets you supercharge your retirement savings. If you can do it, do it. Because those late catch-up years are the most valuable years for compounding before you draw down.
That's huge and underused. Most people don't even know about the 60 to 63 super catch-up.
Almost nobody knows, and it just started. Your Trek4Wealth wealth move? Go log into your 401k portal this week and bump the contribution.
Move 5.
Reduce debt before you stop working. Every dollar of debt you carry into retirement is a dollar of fixed expense you can't escape. Mortgages, car loans, credit cards, lines of credit. If retirement comes early, by choice or by force, and you have debt, your monthly need is higher than your savings can probably support. So pay down what you can while you're still earning, especially high-interest stuff like credit cards. We covered this in episode 12. 20% credit card rates will eat a retiree alive.
And mortgage payoff is a whole debate, but the principle is the same. The lower your monthly nut, the more flexible you are if retirement shows up uninvited.
Lower the nut. Build the bridge. Plan for both numbers. Max the catch-up. Solve the Medicare gap. 5 moves. Run them this year.
So Grant, tie it together.
Vicki Robin and Joe Dominguez wrote that money is life energy. They were right. And the FIRE movement they inspired has given a generation a vocabulary for thinking about when they want to stop trading hours for dollars. That part is genuinely good. But the data tells us something humbler. The history of retirement in America is really the history of things not going to plan. Health hits, companies restructure, parents get sick. The labor market doesn't always want you when you want it. For 30 years, half of all retirees have been pushed out the door earlier than they meant to walk out. So the wealth move isn't to plan for the retirement you want. The wealth move is to plan for both, the one you want and the one that might show up. Because if you're prepared for either, you can't be ambushed by either.
Preparing without predicting. Always.
Always.
That's Trek4Wealth. Thanks for trekking with us. If this episode hit home, share it with someone who's been telling themselves they'll just work longer. They need to hear this. We'll see you next time.
Keep saving, keep planning, keep both numbers in your head.
Keep trekking.